Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about a very powerful topic that is called rapid framework. So let's get started. Rapid is just a decision bottleneck, I would say. Have you ever been in a meeting where everyone agrees on a problem, but nothing actually happens? A worst case could be a project stalls because no one knows who has the final decision or say on it, right? In high stake business environment, the biggest killer of momentum isn't a bad plan, it's ambiguous decision making. Today we are breaking down the rapid framework, a powerful dev tool developed by Bain and Company to clarify roles and speed up execution. By the end of the video, you will know exactly how to assign responsibility so your team can stop debating and start delivering. So, what is RAPID? So, let's get started. RAPID is an acronym, but it's not just about speed. Okay. Why decisions matter? In high performing organizations, decision effectiveness is the first predictor of financial success, and RAPID provides the architecture for clarity. When the projects come to a clear decisions and have the clarity and a clear goal and objective, it is executed fast, right? And in a well efficient manner where everything and every role is accountable for some or the other thing to deliver, right? The cost of decision by committee, the rule of 7. Bain 10% effectiveness penalty is there. Bain research indicates that for every individual added to a group beyond 7, decision effectiveness declined by 10%. Large groups often struggle with accountability and speed. Rapid solves things this by assigning specific roles, ensuring everyone knows exactly how they contribute to the final decision that is called D. Got it? So rapid model. Rapid is just not an acronym. It is recommend, agree, perform, input, and decide. The brilliance of this model is that it unbundles the decision making process. Usually we think of making a decision as one single act. In reality, a good decision involves several distinct roles. When these roles are blurred, you get bottlenecks. When they are clear, you get the results. So R is for recommend, the engine room that gathers data and proposes options. Agree is veto power on narrow specific compliance ground. Input, expert consultants providing facts and context. And decide, the single point of final accountability, the person who has the veto to decide on the project and what to do and what not to do. Got it? So recommend, the process driver. This drives the analysis. The recommender is the most time intensive role. They are responsible for gathering input, aligning with the decider on criteria, and presenting a viable proposal. Key accountability, creating a well-baked proposal that anticipates objections and provide clear trade-off. Basically, like think of the recommender as the engine room. This is the person or group responsible for gathering facts, evaluating alternatives, and proposing a course of action. The recommender does 80% of the heavy lifting. They don't just say, what should we do? They say, based on these three options, I recommend option B because of X, Y, and Z. Got it? Let's suppose there is some type of task that comes up, but it's not feasible. There is some alternative approach that needs to be identified to resolve and provide a resolution on this project. So the recommender will be scoping all the inputs, gathering the facts, what's feasible, what's not feasible, how to turn it into the solution, and then it will recommend the options. Going forward, agree, the necessary veto, narrow authority. The agree role should only be used when a specific department has a formal veto right on technical grounds. Collaborative negotiation, if an A cannot agree, they must work with R, recommender, to find a solution before escalating to the D. Keep it sparse. Assign as few A roles as possible. Excessive vetoes lead to decision paralysis and organizational gridlock. Like the input role belongs to expert or stakeholders whose functional knowledge is vital, right? Like there are team leads in everything. In most of the organization, there are team leads, project managers who has the functional understanding, knowledge, technical understanding, and to assess the feasibility of some function, some flow, some workflow, some designs, or anything it could be. So they provide the data the recommender needs. Okay, input. Crucially, people with input power have the right to be heard, but they don't have a vote. Okay, the agree role is more powerful. These are people who must sign off on a recommendation, usually for legal or regulatory reasons. A veto happens here. Use this role sparingly. The more people who must agree, the slower the process becomes. So, agree should have the minimum number of peoples, right? First, because the more you people you keep, the more complex the decision will be there, right? So that's why the on the hierarchy of the organizational structure there are less peoples, so that a decision can be made. The recommender should get what needs to be agreed. Input, the foundation of expertise. The input role provides facts, data, and perspectives to the recommender. They do not have a veto power, but their expertise improves decision quality. Let's suppose you are working on a technical project where there is some new requirement from the client end that needs input, whether it is feasible or not. So here the input person, the expertise, who has the all the knowledge of the platform, the technology on tech stack, I could say, who can provide his input that yeah, this could be feasible and this can be implemented through all these steps. We can do this, right? The silent consent rule, a common, but if an input role is consulted and does not respond within a set time frame, their silence is treated as no objection, right? This is also a foundation of expertise. Like it is an advisory role. It advises what are the best approach to achieve an objective, achieve the desired goal. Now decide, the single point of authority. Who has the deed? The decider is the individual who makes the final call and commits the organization to action. Accountability must rest with one person, not a group. Agreed? The D must weigh the input and reconcile any agree issues, but the final decision is there alone to make. You always have to coordinate with your higher stakeholders, clients, or in technical leads to implement something in the project or to assess the feasibility and then get a sign off that this is the resolution that we need to be implemented on the platform. Let's suppose a product enhancement is there on some platform, and you have the recommender has provided the recommendation that we can implement this functionality with this approach. Input and agree person has already agreed and given their veto that yeah, we can now go to the hierarchy and put this in front of our decider. And then decider is the individual who will be making like yeah, this we can implement if he understand the concepts clearly, there are no issues assessed in the implementations, right? So this is the ultimate, D is the ultimate owner. He will make the final call. If the recommender and those in the agree role can't see eye to eye, the D breaks the tie. Having one clear decision maker prevents analysis paralysis and ensures accountability. If the decision fails, we know who owned it. If it succeeds, we know who led it. Got it? Now the thing is perform. This is the closing the loop. How collaboration in business and transforming modern workspaces. Turning decide into action. Once the decision is done, the D has given its agreement, like the veto, that yeah, it's done. Now we will be moving the perform phase, like closing the loop. The performer is responsible for executing the decision. Let's suppose a decision has been made that we will be implementing voucher code on a platform checkout. Let's suppose a new type of functionality is there, referral functionality or voucher scratching coupon something is there, and the decision has been done. Now the performer roles comes into the play, where the performer will own the whole task or project and start implementing. They are often assigned as input role early on to ensure feasibility. owns the implementation timeline, accountable for results, and flag implementation risk early. If the performer is having any issues, is assessing any type of risk, he will be have to flag, she will have to flag that early in the phase, right? So finally, these are individuals who are responsible for executing the decision once it's made, like program managers, project managers, or any other things. It sounds simple, but involving the perform group early in the input state is a leadership pro tip. We have to always involve the performer role, whosoever is accountable, in the early stage only when the inputs are provided for a thing. People are much more likely to execute a plan effectively if they felt their expertise was considered during the recommendation phase, right? Now roles was accountability. This is a clear map, which clear table, which will show you the right thing. Recommend. What it gathers the data, develops the proposal. It doesn't have any veto power, and frequency you can take it one per decision. Agree confirms narrow compliance risk criteria. Veto power, yes, but it's not that much, but it is having some veto power. Frequency you can pass 0 to. Input provides subject matter expertise. SMEs are always plays a crucial role for any platforms and SaaS organizations. And veto power, they don't have veto power, but they can be in many frequencies, and their inputs can be taken as a form of options for implementing a task, project, or something. Decide the final authority and the commitment. It is having the absolute veto power on each project, each phase, everything, and frequency could be one per decision. The golden rules of rapid. So assign the D to one person, not a group. Like that I told you. Group decision dilute accountability and slow execution. Like it slows the process more. Focus on high value decision. Don't use rapid for trivial matters. Keep it for strategic choices. The recommender must be credible. The R needs the trust of the D to drive the process effectively. Assign perform early. Involving the implementers as input roles increase buy-in and speed. Like the performer who will be executing the task, like project manager or program manager, must be involved at the earliest stage, so that he has all the knowledge of ins and outs, what needs to be done, what needs to be implemented, and how to proceed further. Got it? Like, so this is the golden rules. And in case if you are allowed, decide and deliver, implementing the rapid framework for organizational excellences. So how do you use this tomorrow? First, start with your most stuck project. Map out who currently holds which role. You will likely find you have 3 Ds and 0 Rs. Second, remember that rapid isn't for every tiny decision. Use it for high stake choices where the cost of being wrong or being slow is high. Gotcha. Clarity is the ultimate competitive advantage. At last I will say this only. When everyone knows their role, the friction disappears. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more free framework deep dives. I have left a summary of the rapid roles in the description below. How does your team handle decision? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching the video. And in case of any queries, please write down in the comments and subscribe to my channel. Good day.